thieves in an empty house. Always remember, the thieves of peace are thieves in an empty house because only imagination suffers. You are that which remains untouched. Peace always is. Find and reject the imaginary rejecter of this peace. The I thought is this thief of freedom, and inquiry is the best way to destroy it and its tendencies. You don't have to look at the tendencies. The only way to get rid of them is freedom, and inquiry is the best way to freedom. So always stay toward the self. This is the abandonment of painful conditioning. Abandon vasanas and mind, and you are peace. Abandon the notion, I am bound, and always face self. Desire. Before the wave rises, it is ocean. Before desire moves, it is emptiness. The entire universe is your own desire, so enjoy it, but don't be destroyed by it, because anything you desire, you are a slave to. The thief of peace is the desire for the transient, so aspire only for the permanent. Here, this eternal moment, there are no desires. Just keep quiet, and then see what you really need. Without an object, there is no desire. Without desire, there is no mind. Without mind, there is only self. Desire is the veil over the face of truth. Remove it by finding the source of I. You are the totality of being. Desire simply does not become you. Any desire makes the emperor a beggar, because desire is only begging. I am not self is the beggar. You miss your kingdom due to your petty desires which take you to destruction. So just inquire to whom the desires arise. Then discharge yourself into the emptiness which has no demarcation. No object of desire is real. No object of desire is worth your peace. If your house desires, burn it down. It is only the absence of desire that makes you happy, so allow no desire to rise. Just allow yourself to be dissolved by love. When there is no desire, there is love and beauty. If you desire, then only desire peace, because what you think, you will become. Water poured into ocean becomes ocean. Other engagements conceal self. I want this and that. Conceals self and his other engagements. As a pot of honey with a single drop of cyanide is not honey, so awareness with a single desire is not awareness. Any desire is an alligator, any attachment is a crocodile. Being free from desire, you are God. You are ultimate. Just stop your race and see. Heart is always open, only desires close it. Desire is samsara. The prisons you feel are prisons of desires. Be always empty and let desires dance as they will. This is true sannyas, which is not a matter of cloth or circumstance. Sannyas is not clinging to desire for the transient because desire takes mind out of emptiness. Desirelessness is freedom, so look at where the desires rise from. Without desires you are peaceful, and this perfectly still mind is freedom. The desire for freedom will destroy all desires. When this desire arises, don't wait. Do it now. Sit down quietly and follow this desire. Do not desire to have freedom in the future, and do not make effort to have it now. Between these two, what do you see? Will you help me to love this emptiness that I am and to know true happiness? Happiness does not come from meeting your desired object, and it doesn't come from fulfilling your desires. When there is no desire at all for anything, then happiness is. When you are empty of desire, this emptiness is happiness. So give up the thought of any desire. When happiness comes, you are alone. These two go very well together, aloneness and happiness. You need a very good guide, or you will get lost in the forest of the world. You need a guide, and this guide is grace. I am a man of many desires, and they won't stop bothering me. Let them be fulfilled. Who stops them? The desires in your head will break your head where they themselves are located. Wait for some time. There is no hurry. First, try what you are liking and loving and fulfill your mind. When it gets lost and sunken, then it will know how to reject everything and sit quiet. When you have the desire to inquire, no other desire can trouble you. Desires seem so endless. Do all desires need to be destroyed, or can desires be bypassed by self-inquiry and stillness? Desires are endless and even survive death of the body. Always the mind is busy with desires. These desires must be fulfilled, or you will be born again to fulfill them. By the grace of the teacher and by self-inquiry, desires can be bypassed and fulfilled. Taking desires one by one will take millions of years, and still it will not work. But by the grace of the Guru, the desires will be fulfilled in dreams, and mind will be satisfied. In self-inquiry, you go under the source of the desires. Here there are no desires because there is no mind at all. When mind is in contact with objects of senses, the arising of desires is accelerated. Going into the source, you will find that this world never existed, let alone the desires. That is the place of total emancipation. I had a desire in my last life to be with a particular woman, but I couldn't be with her because I was a big Swami. So big that all the banks and shops closed on my Mahasamadhi day. What happened? I had to be born again, and this woman had to be my wife. So it is better to fulfill your desires, especially your desire to be free. Let this desire bother you. If you really have this desire, it is the end of all desires. This desire will release all other desires. Keep this desire up to the time of your death, and you will be realized. All desires must manifest. Whatever you desire must be fulfilled. Is it true that all my desires must be burnt and laid at your feet? Not just the bad ones? Do you know what the fire is which will be burning everything? Devotion is the fire. Devotion to the teacher. Devotion is to prostrate to the feet of the Master and worship them. Then you don't need to do anything. This alone is enough. In ancient times, many won enlightenment only by worshiping the feet of the Master. I can tell you many stories, like the story of Bharat in the Ramayana. His mother wanted the kingdom for him, but he had an older brother whom the king naturally had to give the kingdom to. But the king had told Bharat's mother that he would give anything to her, since she was very pretty and had helped very much in a previous war by holding up his broken chariot so that he could fight and win the war. So when the king was about to give the kingdom to his eldest son, Bharat's mother reminded him of the boon that she was promised. So she made the king send the eldest son into exile for 14 years and make her own son the king. The younger son was in Kashmir at the time and was told what had happened when he returned to the kingdom. He refused the throne, declaring that it was the place for his oldest brother. He then searched for his brother until he found him in Chikrakut and asked him to return to the kingdom. Rama replied, "No, I must fulfill the promise that our father has made. I must stay in exile for 14 years before I can return. You must return to the kingdom and rule while I am away." Bharat said, "Then you give me your paduka, your wooden sandals, so that I can put them on the throne and worship them." The devotion of this boy Bharat cannot be measured by anyone. He only worshipped the sandals and got enlightened. This is the reward of one who only does param puja. Meditation alone will not be good enough because even the cranes meditate as they wait for fish to come close enough to catch. The crane stands on one leg, which is austerity, in order to fool a fish. But the fish is just a desired object which you jump on when they come close. You do penance, austerities, and meditation only for a desired object. Stop all this. Don't be a crane. Only worship the feet of the Lord. It is enough. Devotion alone is enough. How happy you have become when you wash the feet of the Satguru. The Satguru doesn't want his feet washed, but he allows it for your sake so that you become humble. Look at the feet of the teacher. This alone is enough. I challenge you to do this. It is an unfailing method. All other methods can fail. Meditations are only for something that you need, but worshipping the feet of the Satguru is to get rid of everything. Look at the feet of the teacher. There is no more desire, just the bliss that I am. It is the desire that troubles everyone. A desireless person cannot be seen so easily. If you have no desire, you have crossed over to the other shore of life and death. Now you can enjoy everything. The purpose of coming to Lucknow is to remove your desires and doubts and ego. When these are lost, there is nothing more to do. You told me to face the thieves. I did, and now there is nothing. Thank you. When things come, you must face it. If you don't face it, then trouble comes. Everything disappears because it is the ego facing ego. When you face ego, you must be tricky because ego is tricky. So face things and the ego at the same time. Once there was a tiger who was the king of the forest. He used to kill many animals, but he would only eat a little from each one. So all the animals of the forest held a conference to stop the killing. They decided that only one animal would be sent to him every day so that others would be saved. So they sent a messenger to him, and he agreed, but said that it must come at 7 a.m. because he wakes up very hungry. That night they tried to decide who would go the next morning. But nobody wanted to go, even though each of their lives were in danger every day. Then Mr. Fox said that he would offer himself first. They gave him a party that night, and in the morning garlanded him as he walked away with his tail up. He arrived to the king of the forest at 9 a.m., and the tiger was very angry because he was so late. "No, sir, I started at 6 a.m., and I would have been here at 6:45 a.m., but on the way I met another tiger who was also very hungry and said he would eat me. So I told him I had to wait because I had a promise with another tiger who was king of this forest. I told him, 'So, Mr. Tiger, I will go to that other tiger, and some other animal will be sent to you. This is why I am late.' The tiger said, 'There's no other king of the forest. I am the king here.' 'No, sir, I will show you. Come with me.' So he took the tiger to the top of a well and said, "Look, sir, the other tiger is right in here." The tiger looked and roared with anger, and the other tiger roared back. "I told you, sir, he is a very big tiger. He has given me much trouble." So out of anger, the tiger jumped into the well, and the fox said, "Yes, here it is, you see. Now come up and eat me." Everybody was so happy that he saved so many of his brothers and sisters. This is ego. Carefully deal with it. Let him jump into the river so you can enjoy. You say leaving desire is the way to freedom. For desires, you need some object or subject, and they all refer to the past. You must know whether or not that which you love is eternal. Keeping this in mind, look at the consequences of your desires. Do they bring happiness, peace, and love? If they do not, then it is useless to keep them, so give them up as you do every night in the sleep state. Are you not happy in this state? Why do you reject these objects and go to sleep? You sleep for peace of mind. You reject everybody, even your own body, because you can't think of your body and sleep at the same time. So sleep is even better than your own body. Why do I remain in suffering? There is no suffering when you have a desire for freedom. You can't have two desires at the same time. When you desire for freedom, you don't suffer. When you want to suffer, you have to suffer because you have decided to suffer. Who has ever made the decision, "I don't want to suffer"? Most people are in love with suffering, and so they suffer. There was a woman in Paris that had a mutual friend brought to me. She was suffering very badly, so we went to her apartment, and immediately upon seeing me, she said that I could stay as long as I liked in a separate apartment which belonged to her, but that hereafter she could not see me. I wondered why she said this. She didn't know me, so I asked her, "I heard that you are suffering, and I came, and I can help you to remove the suffering." She said, "Yes, seeing your face, I know that you can remove the suffering, but now I am in love with this suffering, and I don't want to remove it because I have lived with it for 39 years. If you remove it, then with whom will I live?" It was a strange story, and I decided not to stay there. So like this, everybody wants to suffer. Everybody is definitely deceiving themselves. How can you expect to stop suffering when you really like to suffer? This woman's life was based on suffering, and so many people are like this. They don't want to be normal and enjoy life. They just want to suffer. You are so attached to suffering. But here, how long can you suffer? You can't suffer here. Here you must smile and be happy and sing and dance. Don't worry. I will remove your suffering without any pain to you. Will you help me to stop suffering? You have to decide to stop suffering. Stop suffering and be free of suffering. When the mind comes, tell it that you won't go, and tell him of your decision. Refuse him. Don't open the door. If you don't open the door, no guest will come in. The mind which troubles you only functions when you desire. So stop desiring. And when you do, all the world is given to you. I have such a strong food vasana that disturbs me. I want to be free of it. Animals also share this vasana with you, but what they don't have that you do is the ability to make a strong decision to be free in this life. Don't waste this human birth or a minute of it. So many people die young. Spend all your time meditating and find where the satsang is and go there. I also like to eat, but you shouldn't eat too much. Eat moderate food, keep moderate habits, and sleep moderately. This will keep you healthy and maintain what you want. Like the river, keep on going toward the ocean. Eat to live, don't live to eat. You have to fulfill all of your desires. It is better that you fulfill them in this lifetime, or you will be born to fulfill them next time. Since your desire has come on the surface now, you must go out and fulfill it. But you must promise to come back because we like you. Eating is the main desire, so eat first and fulfill this desire. Kabir says physical hunger is a bitch, and that she should be fed. Mind, thoughts, and mental baggage. Pure mind rises from heart as no mind, and this is consciousness. Impurity of mind is when the mind moves and desire arises. This is bondage. This is wanting something not permanent, something that is not abiding and not blissful. Even the movement of thinking, I am peace, disturbs peace. You don't move, you can't move, only mind as intention moves. When the mind is still, freedom is here. Where there is mind, there is two-ness and past. Where there is no mind, there is freedom. Mind is strong in otherness because mind is mind only when it touches an object. Mind is the worst pollution because it is the concept of time which steals you from love. Mind is samsara, the cycle of hitchhiking through wombs. Mind is description, so see what cannot be described by thought. Mind is your desire. It is not the mind's fault because it is you who trouble the mind. Your old wicked habits of disturbing your own beauty with your thoughts and baggage are slow to die. You are agitated by your own notions. But know they are empty. They do not exist. So it is most important to know mind is thought only, and it can create anything that you want. The mind is a beggar because the concept of want makes you a beggar. Be only I am, and try to lift the begging bowl. Throw away the begging bowl of ego for the throne. Freedom is when the mind is cremated. Absolute destruction of mind is freedom. Then mind is no mind. Decide that you want freedom and surrender mind to that. If you offer your mind, you must stop thinking and make a firm decision not to fall back to suffering. When you give rise to any notion, you start sliding back toward the graveyard. This graveyard is the dancing hall of ego. Ego subsides here and now in being bliss awareness. Mind is movement and creates desires so that it has something to move toward. When there is relation to the past and to the future, the play of the mind starts. Let the mind play. It is water. It is the wave which is not different than ocean. It is perfection. But untold misery and suffering arises from the demon mind ego when it is identified with it. So play as ocean and give up the arrogance of thinking you are the individual wave. Stay awake to ocean to self, and the thief ego will not enter your mind's house. Mind is a playful friend when you give him good work and a dire enemy when you direct it to sense objects and desires. Directing mind towards self is good work. Nothing will arrest mind except inquiry. All else is mind itself. So use the mind to introduce you to this moment. This mind is this moment, and this is the self, as there are countless reflections of light but only one sun. To be bound or free is up to you, because you are what you think. So inquire, stop thinking, and leave the association of the mind entirely, and just play in no mind. I was deep in an experience when I realized that my mind was playing tricks, creating spiritual experience. This is good understanding. Now you are after the mind and you have known its tricks. When you know who is playing the tricks, then he cannot cheat you. If there is any kind of experience, it is the trick of the mind. You will be very happy with this experience and tell it to friends and gurus, and they also will appreciate it only because they have not seen a place where there is no experience at all. Therefore, everybody will want to hear how your energy is rising from your bottom and going to your heart and beyond. Then they will assure you that this is the last thing to be done. But when you go after the mind, it will disappear. I notice that these experiences happen when I am peaceful. This is an incorrect statement because nothing can happen when you are peaceful. What more can happen when you are peaceful? This noticing that you are peaceful is a trick of the mind. Otherwise, how will you notice? You can only notice when something is in front of you, when you have subjectified yourself as a body and objectified the peace as being something in front of you to be noticed. This is a trick of the mind. You have not noticed correctly because now you are not to notice inside or outside. Check the trick of the mind by not looking anywhere, neither within nor without. If you understand what I speak, then it is all over. Look nowhere. If you understand, what will you see? There will be no trick here. Nobody anywhere is taught where the eye comes from, and so here you must find out. Turn your face to the source of the eye. Do it. It is not to meditate. It is not to be engaged in any effort. Do it, and tell me what happens next. I experience so much mental disturbance. Can you help me? You experience mental disturbance when you experience something that you don't like. Try to fulfill your desires because if you suppress them, they will just dwell somewhere in your brain and you won't be able to sleep. So don't keep anything in your mind. Enjoy your life as much as you can, and when you have enjoyed everything, you will know that there must be something else beyond the transitory enjoyments of the world. All those enjoyments need the bones and leather, but there is happiness which does not depend on them. When you find this happiness, you will sit quiet and you will not go back to the cemetery which is filled only with bones. Most people stay in the cemetery every day. Once you know this, you will be attracted to the bliss which will continually pull you deeper and deeper into it. Don't worry. Simply stay quiet here, and don't let your mind go back to the previous disturbances. Whenever the mind goes out, pounce on it so that it doesn't go back to the previous disturbance. Be a lion. Don't let the mind go back into the past. That's all. I surrender to you in the same way that I surrender to life, but still I experience a lot of trouble. Trouble will eat you up. Any trouble of the mind becomes your enemy and will not leave you. If you want to live in a happy state of life, face this enemy and don't allow it into your home. Don't allow the past to enter into your mind. Then you will be free and happy. Most people are too attached to the trouble to part with it. But when you get fed up with it, perhaps this trouble will go to someone else, even when you are still attached to it. You are advised to give up the attachment with the past friend who has troubled you. Stay here, and I will show you how to check this attachment. I feel I should acknowledge thoughts instead of suppress them. That is good. Don't suppress thoughts. Face them whatever they are. If you run away, you show your cowardice and weakness, and the thoughts will just follow you and become stronger. Now stand and look at the thoughts, and they will disappear. You don't have to run away anymore. Face each thought and use yoga techniques to gain strength. I want to be free of it. You are on the threshold of success, but you have to be bold and strong. It is a strong one who will win, so put your whole strength on this. I want to be free. This is quite enough. I've had so many plans to travel all over, but I keep canceling them because I can't leave. Wherever you go, eventually you must stay here for your final realization. Your best guide is your true desire to be free. This will take you to where you have to be, which is where your mind will be killed. But she doesn't want to be killed so easily and will appear as your friend. No, she is your enemy. I am tired of my mind and I feel so helpless. I don't know what to do. How long have you stayed with this boyfriend? If you are tired of it, then stop. Sit down and rest. When you walk, it walks. When you stay quiet, it stays quiet. Don't let this boyfriend of yours into your home and eventually it will go away. I have not experienced the source of thought, though I have tried many times. Suppose you own a house, and you notice things are being taken from it at night. So you stay awake one night to catch the thief. As the thief enters the house, you cough, and so the thief sneaks away because he knows you are still awake. Then he comes back and steals more things. You know he is there, but you pretend not to so that he is not scared away. The thief leaves your house and you follow him for several kilometers to his den. You enter into the den and catch the thief and restore all your stolen articles. Like this. Follow the thief, which is thought. Thought is the thief which steals your peace. The thief's den is your own self, and you enjoy it. You say I should face the thoughts and feelings. How to do this? Stay in the present and look at it, and don't run to the past. Stay absolutely in the present. This is facing the thought. When I do this, then when is future and then is past? What thought is between these? It seems that, what do you mean by seems? This is a rose I am holding in my hand. Will you say it is a rose or will you say it seems like a rose? Be clear of what is before you, and all thought will disappear and you will be happy and peaceful. I want to be happy. I want to give my neurosis and all my perceived problems to you. I'm disgusted at how often I get disgusted at how often I am seduced by my mind. To remove all of this, just look within your own self. Do it as I say. Look within, not without. I can see from the face the neurosis people carry for ages. Yours comes from childhood. You are lucky that you are here, because it will go. Only sit properly anywhere and look within, not out, at your neighbor. The more you look within, the more beautiful you will find yourself to be. This beauty has been hiding for decades. You have to do nothing to know it. Simply do not think, and you will know who you are. I do this. I try to look within, but my mind seems to be busy like never before. I want to allow more non-doing to take place. Mind becomes busy when you are in front of something to which you are attracted, not otherwise. If the object of attraction is not there, then the mind does not find anything. If you see a handsome boy, your mind will be busy. When there are two, the mind is busy. But how long can mind dance when there is only one? It will get fatigued. Keep quiet and sleep. It is not difficult to solve these problems. Non-doing is possible when you don't have desire for any other object, person, or idea, then your mind will be at rest. I feel stressed and nervous, and I always create problems in my life. I do feel quiet in satsang. Can you help me be quiet? What kind of problems do you create? Just to be busy and restless? Just to be dizzy? It is good to be busy because otherwise you will sleep. The best busyness is to find out where you come from. I try to be closer to myself, but the noise of this mind keeps me out. Your name is Matwali, and I gave it to you because Matwali doesn't care for anything whatsoever happens. If the mind troubles you, let it trouble you. If the mind doesn't trouble you, let it not trouble you. What difference does it make? Simply don't care what is there. Whatever appears, let it appear, and whatever doesn't appear, let no one sit in front of you. Don't even ask the question of who you are. Don't care about anything. I am quieter now, but thoughts still come up, though they don't seem so important. Thoughts become important when you speak about it, when you utter it. Then it becomes important. Otherwise, there, you see how easily the obstacles are removed. Look at your face. It is not the same person who came here. You are not to handle these troubles at all. They will all be handled by the self. Just surrender to the self, and it will take care of you. He looks after the whole cosmos. Why shouldn't he look after someone like you who is on the right track? I feel I have met a person who is beyond time and space and mind, someone who I recognize as God and self. Can you advise me? Should I take them as my guru? Beyond mind there is no distinction. Beyond mind there is no difference between a pig and a man. Your thought of distinction, that one man is superior to another, is mine. You say he is beyond mind, time, and space. Then how will you trace him? You will only find him when you are beyond mind, time, and space. Then these two beyond-minded people will meet in space. Help me to remove my ignorance and to totally silence me. I have had experiences of bliss, but I guess I am still too influenced by the world and by my concepts. If you have had a glimpse, then let anything stay with you. There is no problem. No world or events will trouble you. Keep this glimpse in your mind and what can happen. Your Father is the Lord of the universe and he cannot disown you. You can do whatever you want as long as you remember that you are the Son of the Lord of the universe. All these things are for you to enjoy. Like the prince of a king can do whatever he likes. No one can touch him because everybody knows he is the prince. And if anybody complains to the king, it doesn't matter, because he is the prince's father, and he will not punish his son. Just do not disown your father, otherwise you will become a beggar. It is up to you. Everybody is a prince, and those who are in trouble have only forgotten that they are a prince. You once said that even the most excellent concept is still just a concept. Is there any real reason to try to understand words? They just seem to have put me into trouble. You don't have to try and you don't have to understand. Whatever you understand is a concept only. Whatever you will or have understood is concept only. Whatever you see around you is concept only. The concepts of your mind can become so strong that they appear to be real. Without concept, you cannot recognize anything, so all that you see is that which is previously stored in your memory, like the dream tiger who pounces on you in your dream. It makes you feel frightened. You don't say, You are a dream tiger, purely a mental concept only. I am not afraid of you. The dream tigers are as fierce in the dream state as they are in the forest in the waking state. Like this, everything seems real. Everything you see or touch or taste or hear or smell seems real. But actually they are not. They're all concepts. You will remove these concepts, these dreams, when you wake up. Only then will you say that it is all just your concept. For so many years you have been adhering to this waking dream. Now it is just a concept that you call it real. But when you are in the sleep state, nothing is there. This you can also experience in the waking state. Just stay asleep in the waking state and stay awake while others sleep. As you sleep, stay awake to your own self, and you will know it is all a concept. There you will find your true nature, which is eternal. It is neither waking or dream or sleep. The entire waking state is a concept just as the dream state is. When you know this, you will say, "Now I am looking in a very new atmosphere," and you will know who is always awake, who does not sleep. I will give you a hint on how to do this. Find the concept on which all other concepts are based. Find the I. Thank you for taking this baggage from me. Leave your burdens aside. All surplus baggage must be thrown away. This I learned from my army life. You can't be slow in the army, or you will die and burdens make you slow. Sometimes, when I see people who are too serious about some foolish thing, I think of something that Maharshi used to say. When you are traveling on the train, will you keep the baggage on your head or under your feet? This is the difference between the wise and the rest of the universe. The wise do not carry their baggage, but almost everyone does. Thinking of friends and finances and things not even come or already gone is carrying your baggage. This is the difference between living in peace or suffering. It depends on where your baggage is. If you feel that the baggage you are carrying is of no use, drop it down. Then walk away enlightened into the realms where very few have gone. Don't carry anything. This means do not think. I will tell you a story about this. There was once a guru who had a very young disciple. They had to go to another village, but on their way they had to cross a small stream, which due to the rains had risen and become neck-deep. They both could cross the stream because they were able to keep their small bags on their heads. But there was a prostitute standing nearby who had to attend a wedding function and couldn't cross the stream because of her nice dress and makeup. So this saint said she could sit on his shoulders and he would carry her to the other side. And so she did. Then she went her way and the two sannyasins went theirs. Now the student was very confused and troubled. His guru had always said not to touch a woman, but then he had told the prostitute to have her ride on his shoulders. After about 10 miles, he humbly asked, "Sir, I have a question. I am very much annoyed with your behavior. You teach me not to see or touch any woman because we are monks. We are sannyasins. And then you touched that girl." Yes, I lifted the girl because she wanted to cross the stream. Then I let her down and we went our way. Now we have been traveling for 10 miles. Why are you still carrying her? I carried her 10 meters, but you have carried her 10 miles. Why do you still remember her? That is over now. Like this, whatever comes in front of you, take care of the circumstances and forget about it. This is the guidance. Don't avoid anything that comes. Don't invite anything that you don't need. Attend to circumstances as best you can and forget about it. My old habits keep coming back. Can you help me to get rid of them? The old habits that you had before you came to Lucknow may still exist, but their strength is greatly diminished. Don't worry about them. Just keep your mind on the formlessness of your Satguru. Actually, there is only formlessness. The elephant that you dream about seems real in the dream, but is not there in the waking state. It is formless as all forms in the dream are, even though they may represent a person or an animal or whatever. When you wake up, everything in the dream becomes formless. Similarly, when you wake up, everything becomes formless because form is falsehood and self is truth. Whenever you see form, it is because your eyes, mind, intelligence, and understanding are not clear, and you are dreaming. So if you see form, ask yourself if you are dreaming, and with these words you will wake up. Then you will not see any existence at all. Most people will never see this. They are just driven by their desires to go through womb after womb, each selected according to the desires of the person. All of you here are lucky and merited and have holy births with holy parents. Are the vasanas, mental tendencies of the mind, so strong that they can pull me out of peace? When the tendencies drag you to enjoyments, you can't enjoy this peace. But once you enjoy this peace, the tendencies no longer have the energy to pull you out of peace. You may think you are happy when you are enjoying the objects that your tendencies bring to you, but the most happiness arises when there are no tendencies or desires. Once you know this, there is no problem of enjoying your friends, restaurants, movies, or whatever you want to do. You will not be able to forget this real peace, and it will not forget you. You will even be able to go to the fish market, but you won't smell the fish. I just worry that the tendencies will take me back away from the self. There is no back and no forward in the peace that I speak about. What causes emotions and thoughts to arise? You have to inquire, where do these thoughts come from? I will tell you how to stop thoughts. If some thought is arising, it must come from somewhere, doesn't it? So go to the root of the thought, from where it is arising. If you are doing it, tell me if the thought is still there. Find the source of the current thought, the one occurring in this instant. As the wave rises from the ocean, find out where whatever is in your mind rises from. You have to tell me. Can one really develop this awareness to such an extent that they know where thought arises from? That is what I am asking you to do. Be vigilant, be watchful of where every thought rises from. How do I recreate the suffering in my mind? When the ego is removed, you will feel tremendous happiness. It is only because of ego that you suffer and feel unhappiness. But once you throw away the ego, how can you let it return? Why did you pick it up again? It means that you have not thrown it away. This happens most of the time. Most of the time when people feel in peace, they have not left the ego behind. Once you are clean, you will not smear your clothes again with mud. Having had a bath in the Ganga, how will you again smear yourself with mud? So you have had intention to take a bath, but you have not done it. Intention is something else, but you have to put your intention into practice. If you are hungry, you must go to the restaurant and not just look at the menu. You have to eat. Don't just take the menu and lick it. You have just been licking the menus. Once you have eaten, you will not go to the next door restaurant. All you have been doing is collecting menus. But menus cannot remove your hunger. You must eat. You must digest it. Freedom will take you to the proper restaurant or will even take food to you. For the last few days, I have been consumed by familiar emotions, ranging from hurt to frustration. I have not been able to escape this with my safe, insulated American life. Occasionally, I have experienced, not occasionally, always, you must always experience this. When you think, there is the world. When you don't think, there is no world. This is reality. There is no world, no body in sleep, because there is no thought. The world is where you think, so do not think and you are happy. It is hard not to think. When your mind is going to the past, stop it and bring it to the present. Mind itself is past. Mind itself is thought. Look at it and it will stop spinning. Look at any thought in front of you and concentrate on it. No thought will come to you if you look at it. So anytime any thought comes, simply look at it. If someone is sleeping, they do not know what is happening. But if you wake them up, then everything is finished. Thought is the whole universe, and so looking at the thought will cause everything to disappear. Keep on looking always. Question, where is the I? And you will see there is no thought. When I rises, you look at where it rises from. I feel that I am caught in a whirlpool and I don't know how to get out. There is a technique for getting out of whirlpools. I also was drowned in whirlpools in the Ganga, and I know this technique. If you make effort, you will not be able to survive because your effort will, ironically, keep you in the whirlpool. But if you don't make effort, you will be thrown out of the whirlpool by the whirlpool. Nobody in the world is successful in getting out of this whirlpool by their own efforts. The one who doesn't make effort will come right out. In fact, he can jump into whirlpools whenever he likes, and he will not be in danger because he knows this technique. So know this technique for yourself, and you can go back to your home. My home is in America, where I am an educator. I would like to raise the consciousness of the Americans by using the media of videos. What is the main thing that I should tell Americans about thinking? Tell them not to do it. Americans have learned enough. In fact, they are the teachers of the whole world. People from all over the world go to America for their advanced degrees. Tell them that they have learned enough and it is time to keep quiet. They can learn everything in America except how to be. For this, they must come to Lucknow. Tell them this, and tell them always be faithful to themselves and to others. Tell them when this thought of I am the body comes, check it and keep it away. Again and again they are to do this. Then something new will come, something which is not the body will appear. When the billion-year-old thought I am the body comes, check it. Again and again check it. I don't have a lot of success in stopping thinking. If you can't check the thought, then just let it come. If it comes, then don't run after it. It will come and it will stay and it will go. Just watching may be easier than stopping it. If any thought comes, treat it like a car coming down the road toward you. Do you run after the car? No. So like this, let the thought come, let the thought stay, and let it go. It cannot stay for more than an instant because another is waiting behind it. In this moment there is no thought. Only in the last moment is there thought. What do you think in this moment? Nothing. In this moment nobody can think. Everybody thinks in the graves of the graveyards. This moment is the moment of love and peace, but everybody misses it. Thought is the last moment, not this moment. In the present there is no room for thoughts. So stay there. What difficulty is there? Attachment and past. The only way not to have peace is to be engaged in something else, to be attached to something other than yourself. Any beauty other than self is a dead corpse in a nice dress. An attachment to these things is living in a grave with dead bodies. When you live in the association of mind, you're in the graveyard. But when you do inquire, you are free. Doubting this freedom is clinging to bondage. We cling to our own attachments. But we can fly away, and satsang is this open door. It is your choice. Old patterns are your own cage. Befriend something permanent and unchanging, and you will be happy. This is wisdom, the guru. Give up your old patterns of life, which are kusanga, bad associations. You need the past and thoughts to suffer, and you don't need anything to be free. The boulders of the past rest on your chest and destroy your life and freedom. Remove them by finding the origin of the I thought. Freedom waits, but most are engaged with something else. Don't tie yourself to anything in the past or the future, because it will not work. Be attached only to this moment. When you hold something other than your true nature, you will be disturbed. By holding attachments to transient things, you declare to yourself that you are not the fullness in which all is. Self is totality, and therefore cannot possess or desire. So possessing is a veil, a lie. Everyone is a Buddha. You have to break attachments. You have to renounce, because otherwise you trap yourself in samsara and death with your own attachments. Attachment is a demon. Attachment is trouble, because our attachments become our reality. Only in satsang is this removed. Now, how can I stay in awareness without being troubled by old habits? What will you do with your old boyfriend who is always abusing you when you have a very fresh, handsome, and beautiful new boyfriend who worships you and gives you peace and contentment? What will you do? This happiness seems desirable, but it is just another attachment. This is philosophy. Suppose a prisoner is set free after 20 years, but he refuses to go because he thinks his freedom will be an attachment. Everybody loves to live in the prison in fear, but intellectually rationalizes it by saying freedom is an attachment. You are asking me if to have your legs free of chains is an attachment. You are only philosophizing. Will you help me experience what is real right now? Stop hiding in the bushes of thoughts and attachments and burn them instead. Everybody likes to hide in these bushes. I seem so addicted to trying to find happiness in my partners. It doesn't work anymore. You don't need a man to give you happiness, and if you try, you will get fed up with it. That will be the time to search for your own self, because your mind will not go to the past enjoyments. The mind wants to be happy, but those sources of happiness which cannot satisfy the mind are in the end destructive. So after enough destructive experiences, it will settle down, as it has in your case. Forget about what you have been doing once it is gone, and win the happiness of here and now. I have such gratitude for the grace of your presence. You dissolve all my questions, and most without me even asking them. I just still have a yearning to be empty of all attachments. Only when you are empty of all attachments are you beautiful. When you have anything in your mind, you are in the graveyard of past thoughts. Anyone attached to the past has an ugly mind and is ugly themselves. Because your mind is not clean, you have fallen to the past. If you live in the instant presence, this is called beauty and love. The whole world is lost in these outside attachments, not just yourself. If any of these attachments give you happiness and peace of mind, then stay with them, because it isn't time to leave them. But if you see the snakes in your sleeves biting you, it is time to reject them. It is no use to experience what has already been experienced. If you know the fire burns, there is no need to be burned again. Like this, avoid attachments like fire because they will burn you. But don't be attached to non-attachment, because just as the ocean is not affected by the waves, so thoughts and attachments have nothing to do with divinity. So let them be there. Have a firm decision that you do not want to suffer and that you are here to win happiness in this incarnation. This is the number one decision. If you make this decision, you will have grace. Just don't go and enjoy any object. Stop it. Do this practice here, and you will be successful. Don't let your mind go outside of your heart. I see no calm, no joy. How to stay in the non-abidance? Stay as such. If you look back, you will not be calm or joyous. If you stop looking back, you will be happy. Stop even speaking of the past. Even when my mind is quiet, there is tightness and cramps in my heart. When you are quiet, you should be joyful. So it means that the mind is not quiet when there is a cramp or a knot in your heart. This knot is not a present knot. It is old, very old. It has gone to your subconscious mind. This knot is there because someone has not treated you well. They have cheated you well. This is for you to forget, and you have to forget it. Don't remember any person who has cheated you, and this will open the knot. Untie the knot by not remembering. The old is the old, the past is the past. Of course, it is difficult to forget the event, but you have to concentrate on the present day-to-day events and not go back. Try it. Tighten your fist also so the mind does not go back to the past affair. Tighten your fist and even clench your teeth. With that much determination, you can stop it yourself. Otherwise, it is of no use living this life. Enjoy this life. Nature has given so many things, we should be open to it and enjoy it. Those who are always going to the past cannot enjoy the beauty of the present life. You are here, and we have to help you. This is the responsibility of all of us to help that person. If someone is not happy, we have to force happiness on them whether they like it or not. I am sad because so many places where I once was able to hide are crumbling down. But I am also happy because I want to stop drowning in it all. So sometimes I am happy and sometimes sad. What do you mean by sometimes this and sometimes that? If you are sometimes sad, it means that you want to have one pattern of life which you like. Don't do this. This is a game. Let anything happen to you, let it happen. If something does not happen to you, let it not happen. This is relief. If you are happy when someone loves you and not happy when someone does not love you, then you will always suffer. For who is there to love? People don't love others as much as they love their own interest regarding others. It is only for the sake of interest that people love you. Will someone who loved you 50 years ago love you 50 years from now? This is only time. And when the time is right, everybody is your friend. It cannot remain the same. You are the same, and everybody else will change. You can't check the time, and it is eating away at everybody in the world. Time is enemy number one, and nobody knows it. But you love it. Sometimes, there it is again, do not use this word time again. Do not use the word time at all for 1 second, 1 moment, and have this experience of who you are. The trick to be always happy is not to be too friendly with time. Time will kill everybody. It has killed all sages and saints. So it is better not to speak of time. When you sleep, you do not speak of time and how happy are you. Try this now. Whenever you are not happy, it means you are holding on to some past person or concept. Past is time. When you are attached to the past, you are not happy. But this is the habit of everybody. All relationships, all objects of the world are past. Even your body is past. But don't speak of time and you are ever young. Nobody can touch you, not even fear or death. Try this from now. Don't let your mind go to any person, object, or concept of the past. For one moment, try this and experience yourself now. Do it now and tell me if you are not happy. Don't let your mind drift to the last moment or day or year. Then speak to me. How not to be drowned in the past. Look at any thought that rises just now. All thoughts belong to the past. And what doesn't belong to the past? Just being here. These three words do not belong to the past. Being is this instant. But don't use words for this moment out of time. Find out what the words point to. Seeing the self, you don't keep any other name, object, or person in your mind. Don't keep any person in your mind and tell me, what do you see? There is always an object in my mind, what keeps me from being free. Nothing else can prevent you from being free, except that you are holding on to something in the past. If you don't hold on to any past, you will see that you are always free. Holding on to the past is what prevents you from knowing that you are free. Do you understand, and do you agree? For one time in luck now, decide that you have to be free of all past concepts and relations. Just for 1 second. Give yourself this. Then you will know that you always have been free. But you are from New York City, aren't you? So you must be remembering your 8th Avenue. Whosoever has gone to 8th Avenue can never forget it. I used to live nearby there in Greenwich Village at 14th and Bank Street. The past is like a dust storm in my mind. All these storms of the past mean that you still are holding on to the past relationships with others. That is why it is not very clear. I think these storms will cease when you get rid of your attachments to the past. When you get attached to presence, it will be a very different affair. So don't be discouraged. Keep it up. Fear and fear of death. Fear manifests as death. I am the body is the basic fear. Meditate every day to remove this fear. When fear comes, love it. And when it goes, don't cling to it. How to deal with my deepest fears. Do not be afraid of the fear, but go to it and embrace it. Go to the source of the fear and dance with it. You have no fear in the sleep state. You only have fear in the waking state when you bring things from the past into this moment. I have made many changes in my life. I still have arrogance and fear. Now I will try to embrace this fear. What changes did you make so that you still have arrogance and fear? The changes were in my morals and behavior. I stopped taking drugs and alcohol. I want to be free, and free of fear. Please show me the way to release all of this. You say you have fear, arrogance, and pride. I will tell you how to remove it. Look at fear, arrogance, and pride if you want to remove it. Look at it. Pride and arrogance is doership, and this causes trouble. They have never paid you, so be humble. Anything you do conceals self with the arrogance of doership. Arrogance is not recognizing this timeless moment. Arrogance is, I am the body. Remove arrogance, and enlightenment is instantaneous. I am so-and-so is the first arrogance, and this is mine is the second. Look at it. When you look at something, you objectify it and you establish the subject as different from the object. So look at the fear and pride, and they will become the object, and you will become the subject, or the seer seeing the scene. Do it now. Anytime something is objectified, you become the subject. You are the seer, not the scene. Find out who the seer is. To sense something, you need 5 senses: eyes to see, nose to smell, and so on. But for the eyes to see, they need an object of sight. You are not the sense object and not the senses. You are different from these. Simply understand this, but don't make any effort to do so. Simply separate yourself from all the objects. You must discriminate and know that you are not all the things you see. Once you have done this, your purpose of life is fulfilled. Know who you really are. Most teachers divert your attention. They don't tell you that you are not anything, and preachers just dwell on the past. They will tell you about somebody who lived 1,995 years ago. They don't let you find out what is in this present moment, and they themselves have never tried this. The teaching here is very old, 25,000 years. It is the teaching of the Vedas. Find out who you are, nothing else. You find this. But people have lost this teaching. They don't care about it. Therefore they suffer. Once you have done this, you won't call it a glimpse. So do it now for an instant of time. This is all it takes to realize it. Don't postpone like you do with other things. People say, I will meditate when I am retired and old. But perhaps you will not see old age. Perhaps you will not even see the next moment. So do it now. It is available now because it is wisdom. It is light. And you can always see this light in now, in luck now. Don't postpone it. To see the light, the wisdom, don't make any effort. Don't give rise to a single thought in the mind. And just keep quiet. This is the trick, I tell you, and it will not take more than an instant. People have done it. You can do it now. Don't postpone and don't try. If you try, it means this trial will be something to be done in time. I will try. If you say, I will try, it means that you are postponing it for the future. So don't try, and don't make effort, and don't give rise to any thought, and don't care about whether you have done it or you have not done it. What is this then? Nothing is left for you to say except for the declaration that I am. Come on, speak up. I am. It is true. I have so much fear and anger. You have to be nischala, that which does not move. Let there be fear and anger, but you don't move. This is enough. Repeat your name. I am unmovable. I do not move. Let the fear and anger come, but they will not enter you. When you become weak, they enter you. But if you face them, they will not trouble you. Stand like a mountain, like that which does not move. Wind in the form of anger will come, strike, and subside. Waves come and drown the rock. But when they recede, the rock is unmoved. So don't move. You can't fight anger with anger. Keep quiet and don't move. The wind troubles a weak sapling, uprooting it, but the mountain cannot be uprooted. This is how you will succeed in controlling the anger. There are so many things in my life which keep me from peace, including so many of my friends. Can you help me? You must have the joy of your own real friend first. Then your face will change and so will your friends. Just stay here for a few days and it will happen. Now your face and eyes show so much fear. You are too young to be afraid. When I was young, I came face to face with tigers and elephants in the forest of the Himalayas. But I had so much mental and physical strength that I was not afraid even of them. I was convinced that if they attacked, I could kill them with my bare hands. And often I could not even look people in the eyes, because they would not be able to take it. This much self-power was there. Why are you afraid? Even if you don't tell me, I will go to your childhood and find out. Your parents gave you this fear. I will discuss it with you in private, after the cricket matches, or we can continue now. Now, how do I stop the fear? I want to detach from the ego. I tend to abuse others and myself. Fear comes from the mind. To stop it, find where the mind comes from. My mind is in my head. Where does this head come from? When you sleep, do you see your head? No. So the head also is not there. So where does the mind come from? Mind means thought. Thought means I. There is no difference between I and mind. When I rises, the mind rises. So find out where the I is rising from. From birth, I is rising from. From birth, you use the word I. I am attached to this person is attached to me. Which is this I who is attached to and abuses others and abuses itself? All this will instantly stop when you find the source of I. It is not there. Are you thinking? No. You ask how to stop thinking. This is how. When you stop thinking, there is no fear, and who can abuse you? And who can you abuse? It is very good to ask your questions. Everybody must remove their doubts. Don't be shy. Without asking, how can you realize it? Since you are here, finish your doubts instantly. I used to have such fears, especially of being killed by burglars. It is fear which will kill you, not the burglars. This fear is inside you and is the real thief of your peace. It is probably due to a childhood experience, probably a death in your family. My sister died when I was young. This fear of loss has grown now, and if I tell you to just stop it, it will not work. When you lose a near one, you lose your balance and you are shaken. Even J. Krishnamurti was very upset when he lost his brother, and he had to work to get over it. So work on your own self by knowing that this fear is your own creation and that it is rooted in your childhood. It may take a long time to go, but you must see that you live a happy life anyway. I haven't been able to sleep, and this is becoming a distraction for me. If you cannot sleep, this is because of how you have spent the waking state. If you have spent the waking state in a good way, you will sleep. But since you do not sleep, you have been very active for things which are not necessary. Your face shows an introverted mind which is concentrated on one fear that has happened early in childhood. Maybe some kind of abuse which has gone into the subconscious mind. Yes. So I think if you extrovert your mind, you will be better. Go out on the town or to the forest with people, not alone. Don't fall back into the black hole. This can be cured. It is not a big problem or a disease. It is a state of mind, the overworking of the mind always going back to the past event of the childhood. So a new chapter has been opened for you to live in the present life, present way, present things, and then you will get well. If you are not able to sleep on account of some reason, Make use of this time by making inquiry. Who is not sleeping? If you find the good answer, it will be the one who has never slept, the one who is always awake and always conscious. Let your mind sleep. Let your body and ego sleep. But you stay awake. Look at them. If you don't make this inquiry and you don't sleep, then you will have to consult another person. Is fear and insecurity at both an inner conscious level and an outer conscious level? Fear and insecurity can only be at the outer conscious level because there is no fear at the inner conscious level. When you see the inner conscious level, you have no fear at all. You have to look at your fears. When you are aware of them, they vanish because you are the witness of the fear. Where did you get this fear? You are carrying fear from the past, not from the present. This fear is from your childhood. Nobody can help you to throw away your fears. You have to do it yourself by going to the root of the fear which has disturbed your mind. You will find out what is the cause and how to deal with it. In the last year, I've had a growing awareness of fear of the world, especially other people. It means you are hiding something, otherwise you would not be afraid. If a robber goes to the forest, he will suspect that a person behind him is a policeman who is after him, because he has something to hide. He always has the policeman in his mind. So something is there that you are hiding, and so you are afraid of people in the world. I feel I am hiding anger. Anger and fear go together. Both are robbers. What crime have you done? What have you done to others that you are angry with them? Your anger is to wipe somebody out. Both anger and fear are fierce enemies of a man. You are probably hiding something from childhood, but if you don't know it, it is good luck. Now you are on your heels to face fear and anger. Everybody has come here to face these enemies: lust, anger, greed. Everybody will be harmed by these three enemies. I am just arriving from France and I am in a lack of trust and I can't let go. What do you want to let go of? There are many things to let go of. My fears and my tensions. Oh, so you are always thinking about your country. If you don't let go, it means that you are attached to something and that you are afraid that it will leave you. You must be attached to something of the past and it will not leave you. If you understand that there is no real friend and that everybody is after your flesh for their own interests and enjoyments, not yours, you will get fed up and search for the friend who is always present, but hiding. Find the friend who is always hiding in your own heart. Did you ever turn your face to your own heart? You have been looking at others, but you have not looked to your own self. Don't think and don't make effort. This is what I can't do. If you don't do it yourself, then whose problem is it? You must solve this yourself. If you are hungry, you must eat because it won't help you if others eat for you. So if you want peace, you must find it yourself. Tell me if not thinking and not making effort doesn't make you happy. Anger and dissatisfaction. Anger, greed, attachment, and aversion are the diseases of the mind which make meditation, knowing who you are, impossible. Anger arises only when there are two, and this two-ness is ego. Anger, greed, hypocrisy, lust, and jealousy, all are mighty enemies on the battlefield, but conquer ego, and you will conquer all of these. Do not get involved in anger, greed, or lust. These are the ego. Don't let yourself be involved. If greed interests you, be greedy for freedom. If you are angry, then be angry with God, and if you must lust, Desire the union with your heart. Check the flowing river of mind by damming it and then channeling it, or the dam will break due to the floods of anger and greed. The channels must irrigate in the right direction. Then anger, greed, and grief will run harmlessly. So let them arise, and as they do, know that you are the source and forget about them. Remember only your true self. Like this, you can face all circumstances. I'm sorry to ask you such a personal question, but I am experiencing so much anger lately. What can I do? Anger is a curse which cuts short your life by burning the entire nervous system and troubling your breath. Express your anger and kiss what makes you angry. It is no problem to get angry. Just don't remember the circumstances which made you angry. Don't carry anger or love. Forget everything. Don't worry about asking personal questions because I must take care of my children and see to it that you are happy. Why do I get so angry when I think of certain people in my past, especially my father? These old thoughts are like prison walls. These thoughts are not you. They are the creation of the misbehavior that you experienced from others when you were a child. Now they do not leave you. But by good luck you are here, and so slowly they will leave you. Others are driven to suicide by this. You will be free. Simply sit and listen. Your old thoughts will be overpowered and destroyed, and a new fresh way will take root in your heart. Don't try, because if you do, it will not happen. Simply keep quiet and don't make effort. This may be difficult, but it is possible. Activity will leave you, and you will be quiet. Stillness will remove the concept of activity. Activity has never given anyone a peaceful and loving state. Keep repeating, "This is not for me," when you are suffering. I want love, peace, self. Turn the mind this way. There seems to be so many opposing forces. You will see that these opposing forces are actually helping you. The direction that they take are for your own good. They are not your enemies. What is destructive is your desire for objects. You will see that there is no difference between stillness and activities. No, you will succeed. Do you have any other questions or doubts? I have been unsatisfied with my life, even though I have been given so much, including this precious satsang. I can't open up and be happy and feel joy. The cause of your unhappiness is that you want something to enjoy and that something cannot give you satisfaction, because what you want is from the past. But you have to understand that nothing of the past will give happiness to any person. Happiness and peace are here now. Look for something that will give you rest, peace, and happiness instantly, and you are not to work for it. Now tell me, doesn't this dissatisfaction belong to someone who has deceived you? Everyone will deceive you and is deceiving you. Remove this concept from your mind and tell me if you are satisfied. If you are not attached to any person or object or idea for just 1 second, tell me, how do you feel? I still feel attached to persons. Ah, but I told you not to do it for 1 second. You may be 30 years old and involved with your dissatisfaction for so long, but I only want 1 finger snap of your time unattached to anything. Afterwards, you can go on being attached. But why not just try this now? Give this second to yourself. You haven't done it, and therefore you are dissatisfied and disappointed, and you will die in this dissatisfaction. But do what I tell you, and death will not touch you. All your pain is rising from physical relationships. But tell me, how will you look in 50 years and how attractive will you be? I don't want that. Then stop looking into the mirror that will show a beautiful girl one day and an old hanging woman the next. Instead, look into the mirror that I am showing you. The way of the world is that everybody wants other people only for their own benefit. But you can change this now because by your merit, you have won the opportunity to come to satsang. Now at this moment, are you satisfied or dissatisfied? I'm satisfied. In this now you are satisfied, and in this now you can run about as you like. You can stay with those things that you are attached to, but you do not forget this instant. Sit with the person with whom you are attached and speak to him about this, and see what he speaks about to you. Just look into his eyes. That's all. I'm lethargic and dissatisfied. This comes after 3 months of what seemed to be divine clarity. Can you shine the light on me and alleviate this painful condition? Tomorrow we will play music and you will have to give a song. Are you prepared, or do you have to make some rehearsals? No, I will make some rehearsals. You must finish your thoughts. If you are hungry, you must eat. How did you get so lost in this musical program after saying what you just said? I wanted to see how easily you could get lost and distracted. I wanted to see how hungry you are. If you are hungry, you will first go to the restaurant and not play soccer with your friends. I simply tested you, but you got so lost. I could have given you some guidance, but you must not need it because now you are making rehearsals and 2 things cannot happen at the same time. I do want to be peaceful. Recently I was meditating at your home when somebody told me to leave. This really upset me. What is that meditation if you are disturbed so much right after it? I don't know. Then who should know on your behalf? Find out. One king went to a pier with sweets, cloth, and food loaded on elephants. He also took his queen, and the ministers of the state followed on horses. This procession went to the thatch hut in the forest where the pier stayed. When he arrived, he asked one of the pier's attendants to inform him that the king of the country would like to pay him respect. So the disciple went in and informed the saint. The saint told him to sit under the tree and unload all the gifts, and he would be called later. The king waited for the call and sent the queen back to look after the children and the ministers to look after the kingdom. Night passed, and he stayed under the tree. The next morning he asked again if it was time to see the saint, but was told that he would be called later, and so 3 days passed. All the sweets and fruits were rotting, and a rain started. Again the king asked that the peer be told that he was waiting to see him. Now 1 week had passed, then 15 days, and finally the peer said that he only has 1 more hour to wait. After 1 hour he asked if it was not possible to see him, but was told he had to wait another 5 minutes. After 5 minutes there still was no call from inside, but the message that he had to wait just 1 minute more. But he couldn't wait, and ran inside to touch the feet of the saint. The saint asked him why he came in without permission now and not before, and told the king that it had taken 29 days to erase his ego. You had the ego of a king and wanted to be received like one, but that will never happen. You had an ego, but now you came without one and fell down at my feet. There is no one to tell you no. Immediately upon arrival you could have come in, said the saint. So the king had stayed 1 month. But you have been here in luck now for so many months, and your ego is still here. If someone tells you to go, you are disturbed, and so there is no use for meditation. If someone tells you to go, you should, because there is no difference between coming and going. If you have been told to go outside the room, go, and I will call you again. Many cases are like this. Papaji, is this deep discontentment that I feel another layer of mind, or is it something else? Discontentment, of course, is a layer in front of you so that you cannot see the clarity. You must remove all layers. See this card, which is a painting of the gopis swimming naked in front of Krishna? They have removed all the layers between them and the self. This photo is the explanation. What is the layer between self and you? This layer you must remove. This dress that they are wearing is the layer between you and the self. In your case, it is discontentment. So remove everything. Remove all the thoughts. Denude yourself and you will see the self. This is the photo explaining it. Undress means not wearing any thought or concept, no ego, no past in your mind. Then it will be clean. I have also been feeling such a deep dissatisfaction lately. You are not satisfied because you are trying to measure the depth of the ocean with a yardstick. If you want to see the depth, throw away all your yardsticks and dissolve into the depth of love. Throw away your yardsticks, your calculations and your expectations of what should and shouldn't happen. Throw away your concepts of what will happen. I have been so trapped by these depressions and disappointments since childhood. You have to make a strong decision to be free of these depressions and disappointments, and then you can do it immediately. One very strong decision is enough. Decide where you want to go and what you want to obtain. Decide this here and now. What do you want and how far do you have to travel to get this? So there is only a confusion about deciding because once decided, you have already traveled the whole distance. So take care of your decisions first. Decide to be free. I used to have so much anger and so many problems, but now I have a hard time remembering what they are. Oh, you are a very good boy. This is a very good experience, and I can appreciate it. Even in forgetfulness, anger, and sleep, there is an awareness of the embrace. When you don't mind what state you are in, whether it be anger or arrogance, then your state is beyond these. These states will come in front of you, but you won't make any differentiation because you have found something else and have no time to think about the states. It is good to have crossed these hurdles such as anger. Anger raises your temperature and doesn't allow you to eat or sleep peacefully. Some people are agitated with anger for their whole life. Anger is the dire enemy of peace. Being with you has removed all this anger and has given me so much peace. A glance of the Guru is compassion and removes the darkness of those who really want to be free. In the proximity of the teacher, it doesn't take time or practice. Instantly, light is here. Like you touch the switch and the light is on. Only your honest and sincere dedication is needed. Can you tell me about expectations? To be happy, you should not expect anything. Have no expectations about reality. Just be reality. In sleep you are happy because you don't expect anything from anyone and you are left alone. When there are no expectations, this is happiness. Do your work with no expectations for the results. They are not in your hand. Someone else decides the result. Your dharma is to perform activities which are needed to your standard and not to seek results. This will give you happiness. Nobody can fulfill these expectations. Even when people are old, their expectations are still young. So don't get involved in any kind of expectations. I came here to face my demons, all the unresolved dark fears, like the ones that Jesus had to confront in the desert. If you think I have done this sin, this thought manifests as a ghost, as a demon. One man from New York came to me in Rishikesh, claiming to be followed incessantly by a woman demon. I saw that this demon was the guilt that he was carrying from killing his wife. By sending blessings to his wife by the purifying effects of the Ganga, and by spending time with him, he became all right. His wife's soul was pacified and his demons of guilt were removed.